Thank you for joining us on today's tip of the week. Today we're going to be talking about statements. In the newest version of the software, the ICD-10 edition, we included a bunch of new reports, and a large part of those were new statements. So if we go to the reports area and click on statements, you'll see there are some additional statements in the program. Many of these statements weren't here before, but in addition to the ones displaying here, there are also many other reports and statements that are part of the program that you just can't see here. So if you click on Import Report over here on the left-hand side, it should automatically take you to this area, which is the Reports section under the Program Files TotalMD folder. There's a Reports section. There's the different options. The default reports are the ones that normally just come inside the program, so you can see all of them. They're all here. These ones should already be inside TotalMD for you. But if you've accidentally deleted one or whatever, you can always come back in here and add it back into the program. There's also this, which is new. This is the additional reports folder. If you double click on this, these are a bunch of reports that are included in the software but just aren't displayed in the reports menu. We didn't want to overwhelm people with reports, so there's a bunch of them in here, but specifically today we're going to be talking about the statements, and so you'll find those either under the family statement area, so we see all these family statements, or also under the patient statement area. So if we scroll a little bit further down to the patient area, there's a bunch. So these are in addition to the ones already listed in here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what the differences are, because we get a lot of people asking about the statements and what each one means and what it's displaying. So first of all, there's the two groups. There's the family statement and the patient statement. Family statement is going to show you everybody on one statement from one family, assuming they're connected together with the same head of household. It will only show everybody in the family if you're running the statement from the reports menu. If you run that a family statement from the ledger for somebody, it won't include other family members. It will only include the one patient whose ledger you're in. Whereas patient statements are just going to be one patient. So for example, if we had a family of 4 and each one of them had a balance, if we ran a family statement, that's all going to print on one statement. It might be multiple pages depending on how many things there are, but it's all one statement. If we ran patient statements, that same family would print on 4 separate statements. So we'll show a little bit of what those look like but in a minute, but I want to talk about some of the other options. So there's also what's called a responsible statement, and then you see down here there's standard statements. So you have family responsible statements and family standard statements as well. The difference is anytime it says the word responsible after it, means it's only going to display transactions on the statement that the patient actually owes for, meaning that the insurance is already paid for. Once the insurance is paid, it moves the responsibility to the patient, and those are the only items that are going to be showing on a patient responsible statement. So anything still pending insurance will not show. That's the difference between a patient responsible and a patient standard. A patient standard statement, it's going to show even those things still waiting for the insurance to pay. So if you want to add any of these statements into TotalMD so that you can use them, you just click on them and hit open or double click on them. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to add in patient responsible statement detail CC. And now that if I go to my statements, there's my statement that I just added into the program. Now let's take a look at some of these statements and we'll kind of compare some of the differences between each one of them. Here's the family responsible statement, and this is different than what the old statement looked like. We've got these different colored columns. You notice the charges are in black, but the payments and adjustments are lighter gray. You'll notice that it's going to subtotal the individual down here at the bottom and then jump to the next person in the case of a family. So here's our different family members. It's also got the different columns to make it easier to read what's going on, as well as we've added in the most recent payment that was made on the account with the date of that payment. So since this was one of the statements that said detail on it, that means that the adjustments and payments are going to be separate lines underneath the charge. If it does not say that, then it means it'll still have the adjustments and payments show, but they won't be their own line. They'll just be directly across, and we'll show you that here. So here's what the statement looks like that does not have the detail. So you just have each charge is its own line, and it doesn't give us the dates of the payments, what type of code or what type of description for the payments or write-offs. It's just condensed it into a smaller area, so each charge is just one line. You may have noticed also in this particular statement that John is on here, and he was not on the previous statement. The other reason for that is because this statement, not only does it not show the detail, it also says zero balance on it. These statements that say zero balance are just another option. So what's happened in John's case is that his account has a zero balance. He has a charge of $25, but somewhere else on his account he has a credit of $25. So by default he does not show on a statement because those two balance out. But if we still want him to print a statement for the one thing that has $25, we can use one of the statements to say zero balance. I'll go ahead and bookmark this, and we'll jump over to John's ledger just to show you that. So we can see here John has a zero balance. He's got a $25 credit and a $25 balance. So those together zero out. So by default they don't show on a regular statement unless you use one of the ones that says zero balance next to it. And then there's also the ones that say CC after it, which just means that they're going to have credit card information up here at the top. Whereas for example, the ones that don't say CC don't have anything there. That is customizable and it's very simple. So for example, if your office only takes Visa and MasterCard but not Discover and or Amex or anything like that, we can very easily remove that for you. The other thing is that by default when you print a statement, we'll open up this bookmark one, if I print this, it's going to essentially put a clock in the background that runs that basically says, hey, we cannot print another statement for these people for these specific charges within a 30-day period. So if I'm doing statements every week, I don't have to worry about the people last week that I sent statements to getting a statement again this week. They'll automatically go back into the pool for a statement if there's still balances on these items after 30 days. That number 30 is built into the program, but it can be changed. If you like that option, but 30 days is too long or too short, let us know, and it's easily changeable to whatever day you want it to be. Or if you really want to, it can be taken out altogether, so you can print statements whenever you want. When you're blocked out for those 30 days from printing a statement for that person, people often ask, well, how do I print a statement if I need to reprint it? Somebody comes into the office or whatnot. And so you'll do that from the ledger, which we'll talk about the ledger, statements in the ledger, and statement manager on our next tip of the week. For today, we hope you've enjoyed this one, and hopefully it's helped you out, and you'll join us again next time. Thanks, and have a great day.